Shukri, we've heard a lot about the bowlers going into this match, people writing it up as it's these two fine attacks. But where does that leave your batters in this equation?
Yeah, look, I think obviously the inexperience of the batters is very apparent in terms of number of tests played, rankings on the ICC ranking. So I think it's pretty normal to chat about the bowlers when you've got guys like Kagiso Rabada, ranked 2 in the world, and Marco and Keshav. But on the batting front, look, I think there's a quiet confidence amongst the batting group. They come off a lot of confidence, having gotten hundreds, different players at different stages. So, yeah, whilst they might not have the superstar names amongst them, I think as a collective we're pretty confident.
And just quickly about the ball, do you think you guys have adjusted to the Dukes, both batsmen and bowlers?
Yeah. Look, it takes a little bit adjusting, but yeah, the little bit we got out of the warm-up match in Arundel, and obviously the nets we've had, I think whatever adjustments needed to be made, have been made.
Shukri, obviously, I don't think you're going to tell us the 11 now, but unless you want to.
No, I'm not.
Can you just tell us what kinds of things you're thinking about when you're deciding on the makeup of your pace attack particularly?
Yeah, so obviously the new ball, critical, but then also there's been a lot of talk about when the lacquer comes off the ball, talking around overs 10 maybe. And you obviously still need guys that are as effective with that ball when the lacquer comes off, and it tends to swing a little bit more. So that would be a consideration. The bounce here with the older ball can be a little bit inconsistent, can be a bit slower than what we normally accustomed to. So those would be the considerations. Obviously, not a venue where spin is a massive factor in terms of wickets taken, but it's shown that spinners can play a role here, both as wicket takers and doing an important holding role as well for your seamers to be effective. So, yeah, I think those are pretty much the conversations that have happened. And based on all of that, we'll structure our bowling attack accordingly.
You mentioned the talk about the ball. There's obviously been a lot of talk as well about South Africa's lead-in. What's your response to that in terms of the teams that they've played, and how much is that incentive for the group this week?
I think enough's been spoken about that. I'm tired of speaking about it, to be honest. We're here, and that's all that matters. We get a chance to walk away as the World Test champions. Playing Australia doesn't get any bigger than that. So, yeah, what's gone before counts for absolutely nothing at the minute. And we're quietly confident going into this game that we can pull one over them. We're a confident bunch. We play well as a unit. And if there are any vulnerabilities amongst them, I'm sure we'd be able to exploit that.
Shuks, a couple of things. First of all, how was your dinner with Stuart Broad? The conversation rather than the food.
Yeah, the ribeye was good. I didn't consume any of the red wine for obvious reasons, but yeah, it was enlightening. And as we met last night, coaching group with Brody, and just a casual chat. And if I didn't call time at 10:30, I think he'd probably still be sitting there chatting to us. So really enlightening, really casual, and everybody walked away there like, yeah, that was great, Brody included.
And the other one is Lords, the sense of occasion. We'll never forget 2008, South Africa. Dale Steyn and Morné Morkel were overwhelmed on the first morning by the crowd and the occasion, and bowled poorly, and South Africa sort of chased the test match for it. Have you taken any sort of steps with 8 of the squad not having, well, I think 8 haven't played here before. I mean, so have you kind of encouraged them to get the place out of their system before the game starts?
It's difficult not to get the place out of your system. We almost taken the let's embrace it, whatever comes with it. It's going to be humming tomorrow. 2 days time. we'd probably be enjoying the majority of the support. I think all the English will be supporting us as well. And just to really embrace the occasion, because it is a huge occasion, Neil. We can't wish it away. And these were some of the conversations that were had last night, you know, in taking it in, just making sure you settle yourself down. And yeah, rather than wish it away, we talk through these things. And there are going to be nerves. The excitement levels are starting to ramp up, as you're well aware. So yeah, it's a great occasion, and I'd rather be part of it than not.
Good. Just there's so much talk about the health of Test cricket and the way it should be played, especially in this country. Is it pretty cool that two teams who play still traditional Test cricket are playing this big final in a format which also kind of shows you that you can still play it in different ways, and also the fact that it's happening in a country which seemed to think, at least the team, that it should be played in another way?
Yeah, I think it's great that it's come to the home of cricket. I mean, this is the home of cricket, and yeah, true traditional Test teams go head to head. Test cricket, we still hold it very dearly. Our fixture list might not speak to that, but all of our players, this is the biggest final they've ever been involved in. This is the biggest match they've ever been involved in. So as pure traditionalists, we've also realized that the other formats, together with Test cricket, can coexist, and we need to ensure that they do coexist. But we also need to make sure that Test cricket remains the pinnacle, and your best players need to be out there whenever Test cricket is being played, and that every nation needs to be included when Test cricket is spoken about, because it is still not only the biggest shop window, but it is still the best breeding ground for any format of cricketer.
Australia, obviously perennial winners. Yourselves, just the one major title back in '98. Has that been talked about at all? Does that weigh heavy on the group?
I'm not sure if any of our guys were born in '98 even. No, it doesn't weigh heavy on us. I think it's unfair to burden this group with anything that's gone before. But again, just like the previous question, you can't wish things away. You know, we know we want to and we need to win another ICC event. But whatever tags come along, yeah, we don't wear that. And like I said, it's unfair to burden this group with that. It's just another occasion to set the record straight and to get that first title. And you can only win it if you play in finals, you know, and the more finals you play in, you obviously improve your chances of winning. So we've got another chance here. We had a chance not so long ago in the West Indies in the T20 World Cup, and now we've got another opportunity. And yeah, hopefully this time we break that duck.
Shukri, just about Kyle Verreynne and this really big steps he's made the last few seasons, particularly with the bat. I mean, he's essentially in the top 3 batters for South Africa in the cycle. Why do you think he's made such big strides? I mean, early on you didn't have him for the first couple of tests that you were in charge, and is he now more comfortable in that role of being able to talk to some of the older players, you know, when it comes to stuff like, you know, DRS and so on and so forth?
He's still rubbish at that. I'll tell you that much. No, I think Kyle's. Yeah, when I took over, having left him out, I think being dropped, left out, choose whichever one you want. I think that's still a critical part of your development as well. You know, you need to the adversity you need to deal with, and then show the necessary drive and resilience to come back. And I think that's what Kyle's done. He hasn't taken anything for granted. He fully understands what we want from our wicketkeeper and our wicketkeeper batter in particular. And yeah, he's not the prettiest to look at, but he certainly is very effective. And I'm not talking his physical attributes. I'm talking with the bat. But he gets the job done, and I think that's another thing that we we constantly talk about it. I'm not interested in the how as long as the job gets done. And that sits really well with Coetzee because he's quite unconventional. But the growth that we've seen both with the gloves and with the bat, as well as the little mongrel, if you want, behind the stumps, which is pretty much what South Africa's had over the years in wicket-keeper batters. I think Coetzee is starting to grow into that nicely now.
Cool. We're going to go 105, and then we're going to go Daniel to here.
Hi there. Just wanted to ask you, you talked about, the Test cricket ensuring it stays at the pinnacle. How have you worked through, I guess, the conversations with players around, practically making that a reality when, it is obviously it's a challenge for South Africa relative to, say what Cricket Australia can pay their players to play Test cricket?
Yeah, I see how relative it is. Whenever I go into the stores here, you start calculating what it costs you. So it's no surprise we can't compete. But I think the important bit is to plan properly. So each player's season and year could look different to the next one. So it's about prioritizing certain tours where we could give them a break and ensure that some conditioning is able to happen, and if any work needs to be done on the game, because these guys go around the clock, they never find to actually work on the game. And we've actually done that now with 5 of our cross-format players being rested for the Zimbabwe tour. And then also, whenever we're not playing and there's an opportunity for them to earn some USD, then we'll obviously encourage that. Obviously, they're earning potential, but also they come back better cricketers. But through the conversations we've had, as long as we can plan things properly in advance, then I've certainly got the buy-in from all of our players that Test cricket, they're as committed as they ever have been, or more committed, if that's possible.
Shuks, when it was day 3 of the chase against Pakistan, you kind of laid down the gauntlet in the dressing room and you used the choker's word. And you kind of said, you guys are going to be the ones to do it. That didn't really go down well. Has your messaging around that and the pressures and what this means, is that softened? Or are you still kind of finding a balance between hard and, tentative?
I thought it was the opportune time to lay down that challenge. Maybe because we had another chance. If it didn't go our way, we had another chance in Cape Town. But yeah, it didn't go down kindly. But at some stage, that conversation needs to be had, and it's all about choosing when to have that. So we had it the evening before, left it. Result worked out okay. We touched on it briefly the other day around what were the learnings from that, and what sort of response we can expect and we're looking for. And that's pretty much been the long and short of that conversation.
Shuks, you look at the makeup of your coaching staff, Ashwell, Creer, these are guys that were real battlers, fighters, and you speak about the nature of your side. Is it the sum of the parts that's the strong suit of this team, that they'll fight for every run, they'll save every run, that is where the hallmarks of this team, and particularly in a game like this?
Yeah, for now, I think that those are the hallmarks, and hopefully it stays that way until the numbers start becoming more of the numbers that we can maybe not compare with the Hashims and the ABs and the Jacques, but I think that's our strength at the minute, is that as a collective, guys really go out there and fight for every run, every little contribution. We understand how important it is. And then also you look at a guy like Tristan Stubbs, doesn't bowl, and you look at his celebrations when wickets get taken, and that for me is like the essence of what this team is about. But hopefully in years to come, we'll see a few more names on those honours boards around the world, and those batting averages start nudging toward the 40 and above, where, then you're onto something really good.
Just in contrast to that, you've got an X-factor player in Marco Yansen, and we've seen him in the past possibly not start big games very well. Is there just the conversation around him. How does he go about his initial period with, and just elaborate on the X factor that he does bring.
Look, X factor he's got. I'm really not interested in how he starts, but he finished that last big game really well, winning it at Centurion. So I'd far rather take that finish. But yeah, look, we forget these guys are 24 and 25 years old. I mean, Marco's 25 years old. So all of those, the sense of the occasion, the expectation that weighs on them, but they'll get better the more they're exposed to that. And again, we're expecting a bold showing from Marco with both bat and ball, in particular with the ball. So I think there's been a lot of growth. You look at the calmness he showed towards the end in that chase at Centurion, and I think that will stand him in really good stead.
Shuks, you had Graeme Smith at the training yesterday. It was obviously had lots of success in this country as a captain as well. Just could you maybe talk about what that conversation was about?
Well, he was here at some other major event. I think it's some MCC stuff, and Biff just reached out and said, "Well, I'm here. Is it okay if I pop round?" You know, and we open to those sort of things. I mean, he's a legend in South African cricket. Probably he's the most successful Test captain. So you can have people like that around, and also then know during a prep and obviously the final bits of prep, he's not going to come in and impose himself on anything. If anybody needs to have a chat or casual conversation, he's there for that chat to be had. So, yeah, I wouldn't make too much of that. Ex-players, guys like Graeme are always welcome. Doesn't have to be a formal invitation or a batting consultant or bowling consultant that some people have gone to town on. With regards to Brodie, it's just using whatever we can, and if it adds value, great.